How do you feel about the messages that we are sending out as an industry, because it is our industry, with things like skinny coffee, flat tummy tea, getting people that have a certain body shape to hold a product and say it's great? How do you feel we're doing as an industry, and what can someone who's seeing that do to kind of come away positive from it?
So for anyone that's doing it in the fitness industry, so posing with a thing of skinny coffee or a boom bod or whatever, I think it's totally unethical and they need to be poked in the eye with a pitchfork. Because that's the reality. These products are not helping anyone move forward or evolve, and that person's just trying to make money because a company's gone, if you hold this up, we'll give you 30% of all the sales that you get. There's no genuine desire to help there. It's a purely money-making move, so it's completely unethical.
Hello podcast, welcome back for another episode. I'm up to like 46 now, way behind this fella who's here today, but doing my best to catch up. I'm excited, you probably hear it in my voice. It's a man I've followed for a long time on the social web, a nutritionist who I trust in. He's an honest guy, which is rare to find in our world. His name is Ben Coomber. He runs the #1 health podcast in the UK, amongst other things. And I've just admitted that my wife doesn't know who he is, which is highly embarrassing. So Ben, can you say hello and tell us who you are, mate? For my wife's benefit, mainly.
Yeah, well, hopefully the wife's listening. She probably nods and says she is, but sounds like she's not. So have a chat, Frank. Yeah, my name's Ben Coomber. Got into the fitness industry because I used to be obese myself, suffered with loads of health problems. I saw getting fit and healthy as a way to be more successful in my life. So I was very motivated at a very young age to get into the best shape of my life because I wanted to be an actor when I was younger. But throughout that process of change and getting fit and healthy, I just got really interested in health and fitness. Ended up training to become a personal trainer just for my own benefit. But then I was like, this is really cool. I want to help people. And then just kind of got into the fitness industry, started as a personal trainer, realized that my passion was in nutrition. So just sort of really focused on that, specialized in that. When I was at uni between 2007 and 2010, the kind of online world was really ramping up, and there was a lot of kind of entrepreneurial enterprise activity in my university, and it caught my eye. I ended up starting my first online business in 2008, screwed it up loads, started a different business in 2009, screwed it up a bit less, and kind of focused an awful lot of my online coaching and message and products and services and stuff in the online space. So I've kind of been a bit of an online guy since about 2009. Alongside that, I do public speaking, I do a podcast, as you've mentioned, Ben Coomber Radio, and generally just try to keep educating people and moving them forward to be able to live a more awesome life.
Yeah, I love it, love it. What sort of people do you mainly aim at or work for? Because you seem to cater for quite a few, but do you have a vision?
I do have a vision, and when you speak to like business gurus, they're like, you need to have a niche, and I'm like, nah, niches are kind of a bit boring. So I try and frame my work that if you want to live an awesome life, come with me. It's kind of as simple as that. Generally, the people that follow me are kind of sort of 25 to 45-year-old people. They've had a bit of fitness exposure. They're trying to get fit and healthy. And then on the flip side of that, there's people that are more interested in kind of sports performance, because in my younger years, I was very much a performance nutritionist. And while that's all good and well, I don't think it genuinely changes lives. I don't think it really gets people, or the majority of the population, to a really good place. So I do straddle quite a few sort of different offerings, and for me it's because it keeps my job interesting.
It's so easy to try and cater for everybody, isn't it? And as you say, we want to, don't we? We have that vibe within us. But to frame it up for you today, to get very clear, what you're great at, I think, is simplifying this world of nutrition. And the reason I've got you on today, and what I really want to pounce on, is your simplification, if that's even a word, of a topic that is interesting at the moment around these kind of funky skinny coffees, flat tummy tea, save the world, hot chocolates, whatever it is that we see now on the social media world, which gets attention for one, but also I think causes dilemmas for people like myself, parents, the messages we see being sent out there. And I want to know, just in an honest fashion, from someone who knows what they're talking about and can make it sound like something I understand, what are these things? What are we being sold online at the moment with these skinny coffees, flat tummy teas? Can you tell us?
Yeah, so most of the things that we're sold are generally a shortcut. Most people are looking for a shortcut, and that's because the human brain will naturally want to take the path of least effort to get to the end product. So it's kind of an inbuilt thing. You know, we are creatures. We are very similar to monkeys, like we're just not quite as hairy anymore and don't pick our nose as much in public and don't generally fart as much in public. But we
Try.
are kind of, we have got a really kind of like Paleolithic brain. So if we can get something easy, there will be a desire to get it. So when all these marketing claims fly around the internet going, oh, you could take this for 28 days and you could lose £9 or whatever, you can see why people are naturally like, ooh, okay, I'll look at this. And then there's probably a little alarm going off in their head going, it's probably bull. You know, it probably doesn't work. I probably can't drink a tea and lose £10 in a month and stuff. And the reality is a lot of these products might be priced at like 20, 30, 40 quid. And to the average person looking at that, they're probably like, well, 30 quid isn't loads. So if I take it, boom, if it doesn't work, well, I haven't really wasted that much money. So actually, there's a really easy access point for these companies to come into the market and sell complete bull, dressed up a little bit like something at a cost where people are like, well, actually, I might as well give it a go. Like it's not like they're asking for £100. £100 I'd have to really think about. They're only asking for £30. The reason why most of these products work is they end up creating an environment which causes the effect that the product doesn't actually have. So what we generally see with healthy behaviors is they lead to other healthy behaviors. And this is why acquiring and changing habits is very important. So if you go, oh, I'm going to buy a skinny tea, and as soon as it lands in the post, straight away you have more intention to get skinny because you've bought a product. So the chances are you'll start drinking your skinny tea and you will be more mindful about everything else that's happening in your life. Well, I'm on a diet right now. I'm taking the skinny tea. So actually I'll say no to the bit of cake, and actually I will choose something that's better for me on the menu rather than having, you know, the fish and chips or whatever. So people actually end up engaging in a huge amount of behaviors that move towards weight loss. If you were to look at something that's been around for a long time, like 30, 40 years, the classic diet pills, which are thermogenic. So you take a thermogenic diet pill, and on average, according to the research, it will burn an extra 35 to 55 calories a day. So that's basically like, that's a plum. Like you can not eat a plum. That's basically what it's doing. It's speeding your metabolism up so much that you'll burn off a plum. So you've got to ask yourself, is that worth 20, 25, £30 that you're buying? So there is a very minor weight loss effect, but it's negligible. Like it's literally, it just doesn't matter. So actually, it's not that these products are that effective that we can really hold up to the claims. It's that all these testimonials come about from the environment that people create as a result of buying these products.
Got it. So you're saying when we see a success story, a before and after with a product like that, they could be true. It could be something that someone has achieved, potentially, although often it's just a glamorized, it's just a picture that looks great.
It is true.
It is true.
But it wasn't the product, it was them.
Right.
So they might have taken the skinny coffee, but at the same time as having the skinny coffee, they ate less, they started to exercise. Oh, and guess what burns body fat? A calorie deficit. And that's why us as trainers are sitting here recommending a better diet, eating less, moving, getting outside, getting to bed on time, drinking enough. They're all the things that we're promoting, but those people end up doing that but their access point is a crappy, faulty product. It just initiated a series of behaviours.
Okay. And for you then, because I have a battle when I speak to clients personally with nutrition, we know there are many, many options and many steps someone can take first of all on their journey if they decide weight loss or some form of transformation of their body is relevant to them at that time. If you had a scenario where a client said, look Ben, I'm really unhappy, I've tried all sorts of different methods with nutrition, I'm not getting where I want to get to, I need something that's quick to get me going, to get me started. Is there ever a scenario where you may see potential for something like a skinny coffee, flat tummy tea, or even a diet pill as you've suggested?
So my approach is to ask the person what they're thinking of doing. So, hey Jane, let's use Jane as an example, hypothetical client. Hey Jane, you want to get a quick result, what are you thinking of doing? Okay, yeah Ben, I'm thinking of buying this flat tummy tea, I've seen it online. I'm like, okay, cool. Now most trainers at that point in time will cause instant conflict. They'll go, flat tummy tea's bull, don't be an idiot, like you're wasting your money, like all that kind of stuff. And actually they are right. But the human brain doesn't respond very well to conflict. So my approach would quite often be, okay, Jane, I think you should go and buy it. Oh, really, Ben? Oh, yeah, Jane, guess what's going to happen? You're going to buy that skinny coffee tea, and then as a result of that, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. And I'll talk to them about the changes they make, and I bet it will start making you think about food, it will start causing you to eat less and all the rest of it. But when you stop taking the skinny club coffee, flat tummy, whatever, you'll stop those behaviors because you're out of your diet phase. So it will 100% cause you to lose weight. You will 100% change, but it will all fall flat on its face when the tub runs out and you don't rebuy, because you will no longer be in that mental phase of making those changes, about changing your lifestyle. So again, it will be another quick fix. So Jane, go away and do it. But when you finish the tub and you're still stuck, then we'll have a chat.
So there'll always be a conversation with the individual around where do you actually want to end up, for one, and being honest and open about the whole scenario, and hope that they then choose a path that is suitable for them, because that ultimately is all we can do, isn't it? Is facilitate that person at that moment in time.
Exactly. And what I'm trying to do with every conversation that I'm having with a client is make them realize that they actually know more than they think. So they know more answers than they're aware of, but also for them to draw their own conclusions. The fitness industry for many, many years has been great at telling people what they should and shouldn't do. And coaches have picked up that behavior. Don't eat that, eat this. Don't train that way, train this way. And actually it's a way more open discussion. It's about the context. It's about how people usually behave. It's about where they're trying to get to. So in that conversation with Jane, I kind of flipped it on his head and I said, yeah, I'm happy with you to do that. But let me talk to you about what's going to happen and why. And then that person will come to their own realizations and go, oh, actually, then there's no point wasting 30 quid, is there? I'm like, no, Jane. But I did it through a place of kind of conversation and allowing that person to realize themselves rather than conflict.
Got it. Is this the sort of conversations that come up in your BTN and your Fat Loss for Life programs? Do you find conversations like this happening?
All the time. My coaching style is I'll generally reply with a question. So online, people will go, "Hey Ben, what do you think of this?" And I'm like, "Well, what do you think? Where are you currently at? You've read it. Verbalize your thoughts." And then what happens is that opens up a conversation around it rather than just like a black and white answer. And it gets that person to realize what they already do and don't know. It also gives me an understanding of what that person has tried before and where their head's at. Because, for example, if someone replies to that and goes, oh, I think it's this, and I've read this bit of research before, and actually I spoke to someone like this, and actually I did this, you've now realized in that conversation that that person is far more informed than they originally sounded like they were. So actually, I can then tailor my coaching approach to give them loads more detail, whereas someone might come back to me and go, oh, well, Cindy took it down at the club and I thought it would be good because she got some weight loss effect and I'm really stuck. I just don't know what to eat. that person is totally different to that last person I just talked about. So actually my coaching approach should be totally different because she's at a really basic knowledge level with her nutrition. So I'm always trying to get people to think critically, because my sort of ethos with my fat loss coaching is that, like, at the end of 90-ish days, I want people to feel like they're their own mini nutrition coach, that they can do it themselves. They don't need me long term. And for me, that helps me increase my level of impact because people don't have to rely on me.
Got it. And that really is the only way for true, like as you say, fat loss for life, change for life, isn't it?
Yes,
It
exactly.
has to come from within. So because these teas fascinate me, the coffees, and it is the topic I've arrived for today. You mentioned it's thermogenic.
Yep.
Do we know what ingredients, what are we actually putting in our body? Is there any difference from a skinny coffee, because I don't know, compared to me just drinking coffee? Like, what are they putting in there that warrants that? And because I'd heard something about laxatives being in these, and that's why you actually lose weight.
Yeah. So there's several effects happening here. A lot of these thermogenics will basically make you move a little more. So quite a lot of them are heavily caffeinated quite often. What does caffeine do? Well, it excites you, makes you move around. That's why we see that when people are on a diet long term and they stop losing weight, it's because inadvertently their body's physiology has caused them to slow down. And you don't realize it because it happens over time. So as your body has less and less energy available, it stops fidgeting as much. It might be inclined to take the elevator rather than the stairs. It might be inclined to park close to the supermarket doors rather than further away because you're feeling tired. And what happens is, over time in this diet process, you make all these micro decisions throughout your day to conserve energy. But what happens over the course of a week is that might vastly reduce the amount of calories that you burn. So quite often these supplements are making you move more. And that's why they're really classic in, like, bodybuilders. You know, they're trying to get really in shape and they're just freaking tired all the time. And they're taking stimulants like all the time to just, you know, wake them up, keep them moving, all that kind of stuff. So quite often these thermogenics are just making us move a little bit more. And that's why the topic of NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is really important. And I say to people, if you want to lose weight really effectively, don't just concentrate on the gym, like getting in the gym for 3, 4, 5 hours a week. Move as much as possible. Take the stairs. Get 10, 15, 20,000 steps in a day. Go dance around the garden with your kids. Go play some sport. Take the dog for a walk. That can help you lose weight really quickly because that general movement just adds up over time. So that's generally how the kind of thermogenic process happens. With the laxative process, is quite often we're trying to force food to pass through the digestive system quicker, which means you're absorbing less of it. So that kind of sounds like nice in a way. You're like, okay, well, if I don't digest it, I don't really get the calories from it. So that's kind of a good thing. Well, over time, that's going to lead to malnutrition. That's not healthy at all. Like, we need to digest food. We need nutrients. So that's not a good thing. You know, you'll see fat binders and carb blockers on the market. Again, it's just another quick fix. Like, we want our body to absorb carbohydrates and nutrients. We don't want to block its absorption. That's absolutely ridiculous. We need it. So again, these products do kind of work. They have a small effect, but quite often it's creating this kind of overall fat loss environment. And the big thing, Frank, with all of these kind of products is it's not getting to the root of any of these people's problems. Most of these people have a very poor relationship with food. Why is that? Why are they looking to these products? Why can't they kind of solve their own sort of fat loss issues? Because you and me know fat loss is actually really easy. We need to eat less. We need to burn more. Now, I know that's really idealistic, and there's lots of things in and around that make it difficult. Eating out, you know, it's a big thing for a lot of people, especially when you get to a certain age, and eating out is a massive part of your social life. Well, that can quickly make you unstuck with your nutrition. That doesn't mean you don't go out, doesn't mean you don't enjoy yourself, but we just have to have better management techniques of it. maybe making a couple of different menu choices, maybe limiting the amount of alcohol, maybe trying to eat lighter in the day so it doesn't have as much of an impact, maybe doing some exercise the next day, or have a lighter eating day the next day. Like, there's loads of different strategies. But that's the crux of it. It's, people need to understand food and have a healthy relationship with it.
Absolutely, man. And it's easy to say, as we said, on paper, absolutely easy. We want that for everybody, really, don't we? But I'm always intrigued and fascinated to how someone can lose so much weight so quickly. And I think that was my reason for asking you about the ingredients. But basically what you're saying is we can pull a lot of it away. We can teach our body not to absorb anything that we're putting into it. And we're just losing lots of fluid and all that. And that's where I get my 8-pound weight loss in a week. That is what gives us that result. But ultimately, we can't sustain that as a human being. It's not something we should really aspire to achieve. But I think you've wrapped that up for me on the ingredients part, because that's where I get confused. And it's hard to push or help a client come away from that scenario of, I've just lost 8 pounds, it's brilliant. And then taken to that next part.
That's where people do need to educate themselves around food. And that is a problem. We've got a big problem in society where people are not engaging in nutrition, engaging in health. It's not just important for you, it's important for your kids. If you don't understand food yourself, you can't feed your kids well. You can't feed your friends and family. You can't kind of help them. So physiologically, there's tons of reasons why these products work. We've just mentioned the laxative effect. You lose loads of water, you shit some stuff out, you get great results. But what happens after the 10 days, the 2 weeks, the 3 weeks? You're going to put it back on again. Nothing's really changed. So I don't have an issue with fast fat loss. There's a big trend in the fitness industry to say everything's got to be sustainable, like take it slow, all that kind of stuff. That is fantastic advice. But for the people that do want fast fat loss, I have no problem with that. But what I do have is a problem with is what you're going to do at the end of that. I lost weight. I went from 16 stone to 10.5 stone in 6 months. So I lost 5.5 stone in a short amount of time. It's really quick. But at the end of it, I was really healthy. I changed my behaviors. I was eating good food. I was exercising. Like, I changed. I didn't rebound. I learned through that process. So there is a difference. It's not to say fast fat loss is bad, but you have to have a post-diet plan, not just a plan for your diet.
How did you know day one of that? So you're 16 stone, whatever, Ben Coomber. What was the driver within you to do that?
I literally said to myself, if I do not lose weight, I will not be successful in my career. And at a young age, I was a very career-driven person. So I saw being fit, healthy, strong, good-looking. That was the picture I painted for myself back in the day. I saw that as a way to be successful in my life.
Achieved it. He's a stunner.
Not so good looking. That's why I'm on radio.
It works. Interesting, because I bang on big time about your why. It's the first place I go to with clients. I always think, what is it? What is your purpose? Because it's something I think so important. Like, you clearly, to shift your life that much in that short time, you must have had a real strong desire in you to do it. If we could package that up and resell it, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I talk to you about an interesting thing that I literally only learned about yesterday, and I think it's maybe a good technique for people to use. And the guy I was talking to was actually he helps people be like financially free. And what we were talking about is we were talking a lot about the differences or the similarity, between finances and weight loss, like how you manage your finances, how you manage your weight. And he said, what I try and get people to do is I try and get people to write down 200 reasons why they should make that change. He says, wow. It's really hard. But imagine if you got someone to write down, and let's just say 50 reasons. Hey, Jane, I want you to write down 50 reasons why you want to lose weight. And now write down all the reasons why you don't want to change your habits. So it might be like, I want to go out and enjoy my food. I don't want to feel restricted. And it might be that list is only like 6 or 7 points long. But if that person can get 20, 30, 40 things down on paper, when that person looks at it, they're like, there's loads of reasons why I want to make this change. think how cool everything would be. I'd have all of this, but all I've got to do is just try and find a way to mitigate these 6 or 7 reasons. And I actually thought that was quite powerful. I hadn't thought about it like that before, because I teach people to try and get that singular why, that driving force. But if you could get 40 reasons, 50 reasons to change, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, and presumably you at that time, 16 Stone Ben Coomber, may have written really quick. Yeah, bang, 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 bang. You're writing down loads, and that is like a good sign. I'm in the right spot here. Whereas if you're struggling to even get 1 or 2 down, I maybe that's a sign that you're not quite ready yet.
For me, 99% of people have the desire to change. It's clouded in fear. There's fear of what other people are going to think. There's fear that if they change, what will their partner think, or their girlfriend think, or their kids think, or their work colleagues? Like, what other people think of people is such a powerful driver to change and to not change. Like, sometimes I'll be talking to my wife and she's like, oh, shall I wear this? I'm like, wear what you want. She's like, oh, well, what will other people think? And I'm like, why the f- do you care what other people think? Like, wear what you want. As long as you don't look like a complete moron, then like literally wear what you want. But people are so concerned about what other people think.
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff I wear, I probably look like absolutely ridiculous, but I just literally don't care. People want to make a judgment on me of what I'm eating or what I'm wearing or how I spend my free time or how often I pick my nose in private. I'll be honest, they can do one. We should be making a judgment on people based on them, their personality, how nice they are as a person, how easy it is to connect with them, not like what they're wearing. So actually, I think most people, the desire to change is there. We've just got to work out all the barriers that people are putting in the way of that change.
Love that. I've only ever judged once upon you, mate. I'd never judge you normally, but when I first saw you eating a pepper whole, I had to dive deeper into, who is this guy? He fascinated me for one, but I've never seen a human eat a pepper like that. I mean, where's that come from, mate? I love it.
Well, it's a vegetable. It's good to eat vegetables, and I thought I like convenience. And I'm like, well, why would I stand here and cut it up and put it into a tub?
True.
When I can just eat it.
True.
So most fruits and vegetables, I just pick it up and I eat it.
Yeah. That's the way to go, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes my life so easy. Chuck it in a bag like an apple, boom.
We're all doing it now. They call it the Ben Coomber, don't they now? I see people posting, just done a Ben.
Exactly. Got to be known for something, haven't you?
Well, if you're remembered for that, that's great.
Peppers.
I've just got silly videos, mate. That's all I've got. Right, well, I really appreciate you saying it like that and speaking as you have, because people that haven't followed your stuff yet, and, well, stupid for not doing so, the message that you've just explained there is exactly what I see every day, and I think it's very rare to cut. What you're saying is rare to find, and I would ask people, if they are in a scenario like Jane, to also consider what they listen to, who they listen to. And maybe my final question to you is around the social media stuff, because you've admitted you're an online man mainly. That's where you meet your clients generally. How do you feel about the messages that we are sending out as an industry, because it is our industry, with things like skinny coffee, flat tummy tea, getting people that have a certain body shape to hold a product and say it's great? How do you feel we're doing as an industry, and what can someone who's seeing that do to kind of come away positive from it?
So for anyone that's doing it in the fitness industry, so posing with a thing of skinny coffee or a boom bod or whatever, I think it's totally unethical, and they need to be poked in the eye with a pitchfork. Because that's the reality. These products are not helping anyone move forward or evolve, and that person's just trying to make money. Because a company's gone, if you hold this up, we'll give you 30% of all the sales that you get. There's no genuine desire to help there. It's a purely money-making move, so it's completely unethical. The thing with the internet has just amplified the amount of bad information. If you walked into a gym, the chances are there's probably going to be 50% great trainers and 50% pretty average, maybe slightly shoddy trainers. That's just life. That's just numbers. That's just the Pareto principle kind of playing out. So the problem is the internet's just magnified. this. It just kind of ends up feeling like it's everywhere because the internet is everywhere. I think people need to stand back and just use a massive dose of common sense sometimes. Like, does this sound too good to be true? What is the actual effect? I remember, and this is so unethical, skinny jabs started going around the internet where people were getting trained to administer like an insulin shot, but this different compound, and it cost £200 to get a skinny jab. And the practitioners, I saw some of the private message exchange between these practitioners and girls that were, really stuck with their health. And as we know, teenagers can quite often have quite a few issues around their body confidence because they're going through that almost like complicated phase of their life where they're just trying to like literally work out who they are. And that's totally understandable. And there were so many of these young girls being lured in by the skinny jab. And, there was these completely unethical practitioners going, yeah, if you take it, people generally lose up to £10. Don't worry if you're under 18, like all sorts of stuff. That is not ethical practice. That is just horrific. So anyone that's seeing stuff online, just don't be afraid to challenge it. Like if someone says, oh, this helps you lose £10 in 10 days, say, why? How? Like, what are the active compounds? Where's the research behind it? And that's the great thing about supplements. It is very easy to carry out research on supplements. It's actually very hard to carry out research on diets because there's so many components to a diet. But at least with a supplement, we could say Group A took supplement, Group B took placebo, Group C took nothing. And we can see the cause and effect. So it's actually very nice and very easy.
But do we look at that though?
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
We're not engaging in the process of their health and their weight. Like I say to so many people, I'm like, you're really struggling with your health and your weight right now. How much time have you genuinely spent solving that problem? And now let me compare that to how much time you sat down and maybe watched Netflix. That's not actually something that's really important to you right now. And we need to work out a way for you to make that a priority. Because then you'd be that person that instead of watching Netflix for 2 hours one evening, you'd be researching an effective way to healthily lose weight because that desire was there. And do you know what? You talked about quick wins at the beginning of this. If I could give anyone listening to this the fastest, quickest win humanly possible, it's go and get a good night's sleep. Go and concentrate on your sleep because when you sleep well, you're in a totally different place. Your ability to change is massively increased. When you're tired, you want food like sugary foods, fast foods, caffeine. Like you crave that stuff because you're tired. When you're tired, you don't want to do any exercise. You feel unmotivated, lethargic, kind of fed up. When you're tired, you are grouchy at work, you're grouchy with your partner, you're grouchy with yourself. You just don't really feel that motivated by life. So I always talk about this like right up front in my seminars that I do. I'm like, go and get a good night's sleep because you'll be amazed at how you start to think differently, how you start to feel, your body's working a lot better, you're recovering from your daily stress, and then you're actually in a place to handle change. It's very hard to talk to someone about change who's just tired all the time. They feel like they're fighting their way through life. Work's busy, kids in their ear, like trying to get to class but hardly ever make it. I'm like, just focus on a good night's sleep and you'll be amazed at how things could start to change around for you.
Boom, I'm on board with that, mate. I'm on board. I was caffeine kid for a while. Very fitting to end this podcast. Sack off the coffee after midday. I've done that. I'm sleeping much better. Simple fix for me.
Nice.
Focus on sleep, give up the coffee. That's the podcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sack the skinny coffee off, mate, and eat peppers whole. That's the Ben Coomber method.
Boom ting.
He's on it. Well, thanks so much, man. Do appreciate it. He's a super busy man. He's speaking all over the gaff. I think you were in London yesterday. Where do you actually live? Because you've got some really nice places you go walking. It's like you're on a farm. I'm visualising you there. Where is it?
I live next door to a farm.
Yes.
But I live in like the middle of nowhere. Like I live only about 8 minutes from a town, but I'm basically in the countryside. It's beautiful. It's quiet.
Love it. Well, enjoy yourself, mate. The sun's shining on you, I hope. Thanks very much again for coming down. Where would our silly listeners that don't know you yet, where are they going to go to find out more about you, man?
Ben Coomber all over the internet. So wherever you like to follow and digest information, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, just type in my name, Ben Coomber. You'll find me. I'm assuming you like podcasts because you're listening to a podcast right now. So search for Ben Coomber Radio, and that's it. Just Ben Coomber all over the internet.
400 odd episodes you've done, haven't you?
Yeah, 420 something as at the time of recording this.
You're at the stage when I listen and he's like, this is episode 400. I can't, 400 and something. Can't remember. Lots of
Yeah.
them. I'm not there yet. Inspiration, honestly. You have been to me. You probably don't know, but you have been. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day,
Awesome,
mate.
dude. You're welcome. Thank you.
Go get yourself a flat tummy tea. You've been listening to the Fit with Frank podcast. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button right now so you can be first to be notified of new episodes released every week where Frank dives deep, chats with some of the finest guests across the health and fitness industry alongside inspiring stories from people just like you so we can inspire and hopefully empower you to lead a happier, healthier lifestyle. Have fun.